God's like, and I guess I'll be your God. You know, they're like, no thanks. No thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Joel Reads Bible. I'm Joel, and I'm reading the Bible so that you don't have to. We are here at Exodus chapter 29. We've been reading about the tabernacle, the Ark of the Covenant / testimony, and of course, the priests that we have put in place, Aaron and his sons, and what they're going to be wearing, which is basically the wet dream of girls that love gems and birthstones. I'm crazy about them. I want a chain with my birthstone on it. That's the kind of thing that these priests get to wear, and they have apparently dignity doing it. So we're here in chapter 29. I'm going to get right into it just to not waste so much time as I usually do. If you could please subscribe, like the video, and comment on it, I really would appreciate it. In the meantime, let's get started. Exodus chapter 29. This is what you are to do to consecrate them so that they may serve me as priests. Take a young bull and 2 rams without defect. What does that mean? What is the perfect standard of a bull or a ram? I'm genuinely curious about that. Like, what's the idea? I know that, like, if you go to like a dog show, they'll be like, "Oh, look at the gait," you know. Let's no blemishes on the fur, maybe, or on the skin under the fur, or like let's check behind the ears with the shape of the nose. Like, it is weird to imagine a perfect bull. I don't know about you. I don't know that many things about farming, but like I feel like bulls and rams, like they're probably all gonna have a little bit of variation and be sometimes bigger, smaller, have different markings here and there, right? What's perfection, and who decides that? And is it ever described here? It's an interesting concept if we don't have the description and we're the ones that are going to determine that. Because God, being the creator, would be able to tell us what a perfect bull would look like, right? But I bet you, if we really delved into it, we would learn that the perfect bull is just a human notion of what perfection is in a bull or a person or anything else. It's our standards. That's it. That's what you're going to probably find across the board when we're talking about perfection or goodness. We're the ones that are going to set the standard, not God. And it's very confusing when you try to make a God do that, especially in the light of an imperfect book or a book where he's absolutely not good. But anyway, this is a lot of theology and a lot of criticism for one verse about a bull and 2 rams without defect. But I think it does raise some good questions. And from fine wheat flour without yeast, without any yeast, make bread and cakes mixed with oil and wafers spread with oil. So we're frying up. We're frying up. We're making pancakes. I think we're making they're wafers. Put them in a basket and present them in it, along with the bull and the 2 rams. In the basket? How big is this basket? Sounds like it's going to be a pretty big basket. Then bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the tent of meeting and wash them with water. Take the garments and dress Aaron with the tunic, the robe of the ephod itself, and the breastpiece. Fasten the ephod on him by its skillfully woven waistband. Put the turban on his head and attach the sacred diadem to the turban. This is the first time we're hearing about a diadem, whatever that is. Take the anointing oil and anoint him by pouring it on his head. Bring his sons and dress them in tunics and put headbands on them. Then tie sashes on Aaron and his sons. The priesthood is theirs by a lasting ordinance. In this way you shall ordain Aaron and his sons. Aaron and his sons are like, I am going to break out. I am going to have such bad skin. Honestly, you're putting oil on me, and I don't at least it's not blood at this point. At least you're not sprinkling me with blood like a little earlier when you were doing that disgusting thing with the blood. Moses is like, you're going to get into blood, guys. We're going to get into blood. That's one of our main things. So they've ordained Aaron and the boys into their priesthood. They didn't ask. They didn't say, you want to be priests? They're like, you're going to be priests. They're like, yeah, okay, great. Which, I mean, I don't want to get into consent too much because these guys are probably just chuffed to do whatever God asks them to do. But at the same time, it's like, well, this is what you guys are doing. All right. Like, it's almost like some of these names are just stopgaps. Like, they're just like fill in with different names. These people don't have any sort of identity outside of the role that they play in this story. They are not their own person with their own lives or anything like that. Nothing normal that you think about your own existence. They're like fictional characters who have nothing else going on. They've got their roles and they are going to do what they're supposed to do, and that's it. Bring the bull to the front of the tent of meeting, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on its head. Oh, okay, so we're just presenting the bull with the basket. Okay. Slaughter it in the Lord's presence at the entrance to the tent of meeting. The Lord loves that. Just slaughter it. Just destroy this life. But just stab it, bleed it out in front of the Lord where he can see, thank you. Oh, is this a perfect thing that I made? A perfect, beautiful bull that I made? When I was talking about Exodus 22, I was talking about how the ram was an arbitrary sacrifice because God just like materialized the ram out of nowhere and just said, kill that instead of your son. Why does he want to see this thing that he just made there die? Why do you want that, God? Like, what kind of sick game are you playing? You know, now we have a lot of this kind of killing going on, but just for some reason here, it dawned on me, all animals, every single one of them is just something that God made, every one. So it's all arbitrary. He's like, I made this one. I made it perfect. I made this one specifically for this role because, you know, you just had to find it. Look, okay, that one's got a problem. That one's ears are like, this ear's bigger than that ear. This one has perfect. Yeah. Is that a mark? No, that was a fly. Yeah. No, perfect. All right. I found the perfect one that you made, God. Now I'll kill it for you. Are you happy? Are you satisfied with this? You know, God's like, I'm so holy. I make certain things for people to kill for me. That's how holy I am. I'm so holy and glorious and righteous that I just make certain things for the sole purpose of watching people kill them for me. I don't know if he's ever going to apply that logic to us, where certain people he makes are just so that he can watch them die and burn in hell for eternity. Take some of the bull's blood, here we go, and put it on the horns of the altar with your finger, and pour out the rest of it at the base of the altar. He loves blood. He's so gross. Then take all the fat around the inner parts, the covering of the liver, and both kidneys with the fat around them, and burn them on the altar. But burn the bull's flesh and its hide and its offal outside the camp. It is a sin offering. All the inner parts and the fat and stuff, we're just getting rid of that. That stuff, we don't care for that. Liver especially. Who wants liver? It's disgusting. Nobody wants to eat that. All the other stuff, this is what is going to, for some unknown reason, for some arbitrary nonsense reason, this stuff is the sin offering. This is what's going to atone. Okay? All that other stuff, we don't need that for the atonement. We're just going to burn it. But this stuff, someone out there is going, because the liver is the thing that takes in all the disease and the, it's basically the sin. It represents the thing that takes in the sin. So that holds the sin. So we can't use the sin to sacrifice for the sin. So we're going to throw that. What about the kidneys? They wash the parts too. What about the fat? God doesn't like fat. Like I'm sure that there's stupid metaphors that don't quite work written about this particular nonsense. Take one of the rams, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on its head, slaughter it, and take the blood and sprinkle it against the altar on all sides. You guys, are you picturing this? Like, it's so gross. Like, it really, really is. And you really got to ask, why does God want it? And is it because he's so righteous and holy? Why? How would that work? I just don't get it. And, if you're going to say it's cultural, it shouldn't be cultural. He's timeless. Like, I don't think I should need to understand culture at all. He's timeless. This is what God wants, a timeless God who's immutable, who doesn't change his mind. This is what he wants. Why does it have to be cultural and make sense only for a time? It should make sense for everyone of all times, because that's what this God is. Is that too much to ask? I don't know. Maybe that's too much to ask. Cut the ram into pieces and wash the inner parts and the legs, putting them with the head and the other pieces. Then burn the entire ram on the altar. It is a burnt offering to the Lord, a pleasing aroma, an offering made to the Lord by fire. All right, so they're like, you've already gutted a bull, so don't worry, we're not going to make you do that again. Just wash this one down, burn it. Just burn it up. Don't, you're wasting it, but just burn the thing. You've got quail. You got quail to eat. Relax. Take the other ram, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on its head. A lot of this, I honor you, precious ram, for you will now be a sacrifice unto our God as an atonement of our sins, as a redemption. We're not killing babies anymore, so we're using rams. Slaughter it and take some of its blood and put it on the lobes of the right ears of Aaron and his sons, on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toes of their right feet. Then sprinkle blood against the altar on all sides, and take some of the blood on the altar and some of the anointing oil and sprinkle it on Aaron and his garments and on his sons and their garments. Then he and his sons and their garments will be consecrated. Honestly, like, this is blood magic, right? I said the other one was witchcraft. This is the occult, right? This is some sort of demonic, disgusting, sort of ritualistic, barbaric nonsense, and it's disgusting. Doing it today would be almost illegal, right? Maybe not with rams and bulls. You probably still can kill those things without being too concerned. But if we got into dogs or horses or different things like that, people would go like, what did they do? Sorry, what did they do? Well, they built this thing out of gold. It's a tent, and they do these rituals in there that are, sorry? Okay, so somebody needs to like seriously watch these people, because they're going to go on a killing spree, right? Like, they're going to go do some horrible, horrible things. That's what this looks like. And I think the excuses for it will be that it's a culture. And I can see that, but I can't see that from the God perspective, like saying that this is a God coming up with this nonsense, then everything's out the window. It's like, it's not culture then. And I've already said this, but it's good to reiterate it. If you think about just how petty and silly these things are, a little blood on the earlobe, a little blood on the thumb, a little blood on the toe. Someone's writing out why this is. Someone's written somewhere, I'm sure, why this makes sense and why it's all significant and why it's all necessary and important. And maybe culturally there was more significance. Okay, so just to be generous, he's communicating with the people of this time, using what's significant to them, that's, again, not something he would need then. It's all pageantry for their sake. As soon as you zoom out just the littlest bit, you go, well, why does he require this? Just like, why is he putting people through that? Because they're so sinful. Yeah, well, why? How does this help? Why don't you correct the sin? Why don't you make laws that aren't sinful themselves? I don't believe in sin, but I think that killing someone for committing adultery is not good. That's harmful. That is a overreaction at the very, to put it lightly. Take from this ram the fat tail, the fat around the inner parts, the covering of the liver, both kidneys with the fat around them, and the right thigh. This is the ram for the ordination. From the basket of bread, make without yeast, no yeast, which is before the Lord. Take a loaf and a cake made with oil and a wafer. Put all these in the hands of Aaron and his sons and wave them before the Lord as a wave offering. Come on. Hey, you like bread? Do you like bread? Do you like bread, Lord? Do you like bread? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Where's the blood? He also loves the blood. Look, we're sprinkling your shit with blood. Do you like that? All the gold is blood. Look at me. I've got blood all over me. Do you like look at the wafer. Look at the wafer. Then take them from their hands and burn them on the altar along with the burnt offering for the pleasing aroma to the Lord, an offering made to the Lord by fire. After you take the breast of the ram for Aaron's ordination, wave it before the Lord as a wave offering, and it will be your share. So finally they get something to eat, the breast of the ram. It seems like that's going to be the edible part, as long as they wave it in front of the camera. I mean, the Lord. Where's the Lord? Like, they're waving it in front of the Lord. Where is he? Like, is he sitting there? I like it. I like a breast of ram waved in front of my face. Or is he just there invisible and they're just some guys walking around a tent just waving bread and wafers and meat, just like, and sprinkling blood? Like, it's just so stupid. It's honestly, I know that this is like, people meant this at a time, and some people read this and go, but a wave offering? Seriously? Consecrate those parts of the ordination ram that belong to Aaron and his sons, the breast that was waved and the thigh that was presented. This is always to be the regular share from the Israelites for Aaron and his sons. It is the contribution the Israelites are to make to the Lord from their fellowship offerings. This is where we get the free stuff for the priests. We're taking care of the priests. So it's a good trick because we're doing a lot more. We're getting rid of a whole bull. We don't want this bull. We're going to burn all the bull. We're just keeping this small bit of ram, How much do we have to get from these people so that we can eat? And I don't know how often this happens. I don't know if it mentioned that or if it's a one-time thing or when it's supposed to happen exactly or how many people are supposed to bring it and that kind of thing. It might be every time someone feels guilty or once a year for everyone. So these people are going to be well fed, these priests. They're going to be taken care of. If it is the priests that are kind of coming up with this system, it's smart, It's a lot of pageantry to get fed a little bit of ram, but at least, you're getting fed. Aaron's sacred garments will belong to his descendants so that they can be anointed and ordained with them. The son who succeeds him as priest and comes to the tent of meeting to minister in the holy place is to wear them 7 days. Those outfits are going to be stained. All the linen is white. And then you have all the other extra colorful stuff. There are going to be stains. I mean, if it was all red, blue, and purple, which I, again, was barely paying attention. But if that's the case, then you're not going to see the blood as much. But if there's white involved, it's going to be a bloody mess because there's just a lot of just disgusting sort of killing and blood smearing going on. Take the ram for the ordination and cook the meat in a sacred place. At the entrance to the tent of meeting, Aaron and his sons are to eat the meat of the ram and the bread that is in the basket, other than the stuff that they waved and burned, because there's a lot of waste that's going to go on here. They are to eat these offerings by which atonement was made for their ordination and consecration. This might be a one-off, but no one else may eat them because they are sacred. And any of the meat of the ordination ram or any bread that is left over till morning, burn it up. It must not be eaten because it is sacred. So again, I don't know if this is a one-off moment that's happening. It could be. I don't know where they're getting bulls and rams and stuff like that. I thought they just had some quail and manna. I guess they did leave with all sorts of cattle and stuff. It was a mixed multitude, men, women, and children, and a bunch of cattle and stuff. So they have that stuff, and I know that they can't just eat all of it. So that's probably why we need manna and quail. And there's this rule that you got to burn all the stuff you're not going to use in the same way as, you burn your manna and stuff like that, which, okay, fine. I don't know. Who cares? Do for Aaron and his sons everything I have commanded you, taking 7 days to ordain them. Sacrifice a bull each day, as a sin offering to make atonement. Purify the altar by making atonement for it and anoint it to consecrate it. Okay, so we're sacrificing bulls to make atonement. Then we're also purifying the altar by making atonement for it. Did you atone the altar that you used to atone the altar? These are just words at this point. I don't know exactly how all those things work. For 7 days, make atonement for the altar and consecrate it. Then the altar will be the most holy, and whatever touches it will be holy. Okay, so they're doing some sort of atonement for the altar so that we can make atonement on the altar. It's got to be so holy, so arbitrarily holy. And if anyone thinks that these things make something that is something, and I know that sentence is maybe a little bit difficult. If you think that this is something that makes something actually something, you're wrong. This is something that makes something just arbitrarily what this God, or more likely people, have decided would seem like it's something, because it's not anything real. And even if God is real, this is just his whim of what he wants to see. That's not it doesn't need to happen, is what I'm trying to say. This is what you are to offer on the altar regularly each day. This is each day now. Okay. So that was all consecration for the priests and the altar and stuff like that. So now we've got them. They are pure and holy or something. And then the space is holy. And now the other space is most holy. And then the altar is consecrated, and so now everything's holy and good, and we can do all the other stuff that we want to do now. This is what you are to offer on the altar regularly each day. 2 lambs a year old. Offer 1 in the morning and offer 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour with 1/4 of a hin of oil from pressed olives, and 1/4 of a hin of wine as a drink offering. Sacrifice the other lamb at twilight with the same grain offering and its drink offering as in the morning, a pleasing aroma, and offering made to the Lord by fire. For the generations to come, this burnt offering is to be made regularly at the entrance to the tent of meeting before the Lord. There I will meet you and speak to you. There also I will meet with the Israelites, and the place will be consecrated by my glory. He will meet you and speak to you. So God is showing up. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if it's a very physical representation of him. He's been cloud and fire lately, but now he's actually going to speak to them. He's going to be like, hey guys, what do you got? Oh, that's a pretty nice lamb. 1 year old, like exactly 365 days. Cool. Let's kill it. I love that pleasing aroma. So I will consecrate the tent of meeting, and the altar will consecrate Aaron and his sons to serve me as priests. Then I will dwell among the Israelites and be their God. Oh, is that a new thing? Oh, is that somewhere suddenly out of the blue, God's like, and I guess I'll be your God. They're like, no thanks. No thanks. Like, thanks for the stuff with the Egypt, but we did some math and you actually put us there. And then, all we are eating is the same bloody manna constantly, and you're obsessed with blood. You're psychotic. We're going to pass on that. So you don't have to stick around if you don't want to. He's like, no, I'll stay. And they will know that I am the Lord their God who brought them out of Egypt so that I might dwell among them. I am the Lord their God. I'm staying. They're like, okay, yeah, okay. As long as we're going to keep bells on just in case you want to kill us at some point. So, but yeah, okay. We're going to do everything you say to the letter just in case you want to kill us all of a sudden for not following the rules. Thanks, God. So thanks for sticking around. Great to have you. Wonderful. Guys, that's chapter 29, and it's another long one. So let's hope the chapter 30 isn't as crazy long. It's going to be long. Okay, thank you for being with me. We'll see you next time. Guys, subscribe, like, comment, do all the things that make me happy. I'm not asking for much, I'm asking for a subscription, a like, a comment that says this was fun, whatever. God's asking for blood being flicked in people's faces, burning animals constantly, tons of death, and disemboweling bulls. And, just gross stuff constantly. Blood on all sorts of different body parts, all over his furniture. I don't know if someone cleans that or if it eventually just becomes splattered with all sorts of animal blood. But, he wants all sorts of gross shit. And all I'm looking for is a subscribe, a like, and a comment. I get it. I'm not God. I'm not doing that much for you. But I'm reading his book, and that's putting me through literal hell almost. I guess not literal hell. That would be heaven. But anyway, that's a joke. Listen, relax. Everyone calm down, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.